Hello everyone. Let's start again with the unknown birth. Devil's Bible. This is exactly the mysterious book is called we're gonna talk about now. According to a legend, a hermit monk from a small town committed a deep sin nobody could forget. People wanted to mirror him up in the wall for the rest of his life, but the monk offered them a mutually beneficial exchange. He wanted them to forgive him, whereas he would write an amazing book instead that would glorify the monastery for centuries to come. Interestingly, the monk was given just one night to write that book. People agreed, whereas hermit German kept his promise. The Devil's Bible was made for only one night and weighed more than 70 books. To create it, 160 donkey skins were needed. Admittedly, no one, even most productive man, wouldn't have done it so quickly and with a good quality. That's why it's much more likely that the monk sold his soul to the devil for his relatives to forgive him. This code as the only medieval devil's image in full growth. The picture is placed on page 290 and highlighted among other illustrations. It has another coloring and stylistics. At the same time, this page is darker than the other ones. Having studied this book for the first time, people couldn't but yield themselves to the skepticism and thought that was a result of some higher creature's work, either of a devil or, as the legend says, of the higher civilization we know nothing about until now. One of the clues that made many people think like this was the silk skin band on the hips of the devil depicted in the book. In those times, it was considered a dare to present it that way. Therefore, the monk couldn't have allowed himself to do that. Even more mysterious are hidden in the pages that follow the figure. 8 pages beneath are blurred with black paint, as if somebody decided to cover what was written there forever. Was it a terrible premonition or anything more dreadful? Nobody will ever know. What do you think? Who could have created this book? After all, if we don't believe the legend about one night when it was written, it would have been absolutely unreal to create this in the ancient times. Mummies from Peru. In 2017, a large-scale digging took place in Peru, and in the course of the researchers discovered many mummies. The majority of them were usual and didn't differ from anything else, but part of the mummies were incredibly interesting. The thing is that they had a unique composition looking differently from many others. Even scientists stated that those specimens were not a part of our terrestrial evolution. For example, one three-pied mummy was a female and its growth exceeded about 5 feet 7 inches. According to many analyses made immediately, its age exceeds 1,500 years. It lacks ears, has prolongated skull, and its DNA doesn't look like the human one. Though possibly you don't have to be an experienced scientist to look at its appearance and understand that the mummy doesn't have anything to do with people. Despite that, some time passed, and the scientific world long lost its interest in these mummies. People found that they looked too paradoxically and are much more likely to be good fakes, with the idea to confuse scientists and give them a false hope of contacting with the alien world. Some 6 years passed by when suddenly they started to study this issue again. It turned out that somebody continued researching these mummies and finally stated they had a natural origin. In other words, were not made for a prank. Many highly technological analyses were launched, all of them confirmed this statement. On one of the recent conferences, scientists found a common ground and came back to studies. It's quite probable that soon we'll learn something new after all. As we can understand from their appearance, these creatures are more likely to come from another planet. Elixir of immortality. Those are not only modern people that dream of eternal life, having a lot of ambitions and a desire to follow the development of this world on a permanent basis. It was typical for ancient times as well. Back then, as it seems to me, people were even more obsessed about it. It went to the point that the explored elixir of immortality prepared them and took not worrying about their health. One such wonderful waste was discovered in an ancient place in China. The liquid was in a bronze pot. Because of the scent, scientists thought it was an alcoholic drink. However, the laboratory research revealed that the liquid basically consists of potassium, lignite, nitrate. These ingredients are mentioned in the ancient text as the main ones needed to prepare a medicine for death. Up to this moment, people considered that such elixir are not more than an invention. However, it turned out that such things really existed in the past and were very popular. As historians say, people couldn't have come to this combination. Their development was on a completely another level. That's why those are likely to be higher creatures that provided them with this recipe. Planet X. In 1995, an American woman who was leading an online discussion told people about a theory that can blow your mind. According to her, the woman had been abducted by aliens not long ago. Their goal was clear and understandable: to implant something like a tiny tap in her head through which aliens could broadcast thoughts and warnings to save humanity. One of their first messages was a warning about some planet X, which was moving toward Earth and would inevitably collide with it. Curiously enough, according to the aliens, the planet has no orbit and is not attached to any system. Those people don't even know about it. Given the size of the space body moving toward us, after the collision of a mass catastrophe will be inevitable and probably the end of the world will occur. It's funny, but an ordinary woman was able to create such a news break that even representatives of NASA came out to reassure people. The employees said that their most powerful satellites would have detected this planet and have warned people, but everyone understands that they would have told us nothing. That case, chaos and lawlessness would begin. If we count several decades from the moment of the statement, then the time of the collision, according to the woman, will just happen in the next couple of years. They have survived 30 ice ages and will survive us. You might think I'm talking about a tradition or a place, something inanimate in general, but no. I'm talking about a tiny creature known as the talbergia, found in Antarctica. It's the kind of animal that lives under rocks and the interior of mountain peaks. At the time of its discovery, few people had heard of the creature, but still they knew about it. And as experiments have shown, they know exactly nothing. These tiny creatures are found all over the world, and several species live in rare ice-free areas which are scattered throughout Antarctica. However, it's a very harsh place with little food, except for microscopic fungi and rare bacteria. Somehow magically, they've managed to survive dozens of ice ages. Moreover, they survived more than 30 ice ages without moving more than a few miles. For a long time, the creatures were literally trapped between dead ice and killer toxicity. But even this didn't stop them from surviving. Huge face. On the internet, there is plenty of evidence for the theory that giants lived on Earth before us, and now they're all hidden somewhere under the ground or the rocks. I used to find this theory curious, but no more than that. However, now I find it much more realistic, no matter how paradoxical it may sound. The reason is this picture taken by the satellite this time. It captured something like an ancient face with distinct features. It has a wide forehead, narrow eyes, nose, and mouth. The face is about 2,000 feet wide and 3,200 feet long. It could be a pyramid hidden under the ice, or some kind of alien base. In theory, it could even be a sleeping giant. Next up is another discovery related to extremely resilient creatures, or to be more precise, related to sponges. They were found in the Filchner Rhone ice shelf, which reaches a length of 124 miles. It's noteworthy that the found creatures are able to live in complete darkness at sub-zero temperatures. Scientists couldn't have imagined that instead of the usual mud and silt, sponges would be located on the boulders. It used to be thought that only small groups of scavengers, as well as worms and jellyfish, could exist in such conditions. They're not afraid of small amounts of light and distance from open water, so they feel comfortable in this place. On the contrary, sponges, being filtering organisms, find it difficult to survive at the bottom of the sea under the ice shelf. How exactly did these creatures get to the bottom? What do they feed on, and how long have they been there in the first place? This has yet to be discovered. Perhaps this discovery will be revolutionary in the world of science. What discovery surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you later. Take care.